Aborted From Reality is the second full-length album from Static Abyss, and this is a death metal duo out of Oakland, California, between Greg Wilkinson of Earhammer Studios and various other bands, and Chris Reifert, of course, of Autopsy and several other projects over the years. Now, we've gotten 2 records from this band in the space of about 2-3 years, and they're both pretty great. They've got a really strong signature sound that's developing with each one, and this record is probably it's more of a balanced recording. It has a little bit less of the atmospheric spaciousness of the first record, and that's for practical reasons, of course. But this feels like it's honing in on the Static Abyss sound a little bit clearer, and they're finding ways to play to their own strengths. Like, what did they really like about that first record? A lot of people liked the harmonized leads which were eerie and kind of all over the place, and we heard a bit more of those in the most recent Deathgrave record from Wilkinson, and so that's kind of what we get here in a lot of ways, but we also get more death doom metal. So let's cut into a song that features both, and we'll go from there. So if you're as big of a fan of certain like Black Flag records from the 80s, the kind of more the late 80s, you'll appreciate this. The way I describe this record is sort of like if Autopsy or alternately Obituary featured Greg Ginn in terms of the leads and the sort of disharmonic almost harmonies, where they're sort of broken and flailing and moving in erratic ways, which create an eerie sense of atmosphere, which is certainly aided by the more unhinged performances we've gotten from Chris Reifert in the last several records from Autopsy, as well as this one. Now, I know this is developed right alongside their sort of partnership in Autopsy as well. So there are, if you like the most recent Autopsy records but want something a little bit more over the top, well, I don't even know if I can say that. It's just a little bit different. It certainly has a different touch on the riffs and the guitars, and I think that's the place where they could grow the most in future recordings, is just presenting kind of the catchier, cut down to the bone kind of riffs, whereas these are definitely illustrating a full space with their the riffs and the guitar work. So the broadness of range is really appreciated in the way that it fills space between thrashing, doom, and everything in between. There's a lot of punk on this record compared to the most recent Autopsy record, and I think that's sort of like my favorite part of it in direct comparison, because they've come out so quickly alongside each other, is that was maybe equal parts Doom, maybe a little bit Autopsy circa 92, but this is a little bit more punkish in different ways, and feels a little bit more crazed out there in other ways. So there's something I appreciate about that. It kind of goes well at the same time while I was listening to DePagus' record, because it has that the same psychedelic, outrageous feeling to it. So overall, a high recommendation. It is kind of like 8s across the board for me here, because it's just like it meets that exact standard. The more I thought about it, it's just very much an 8 out of 10 record for me. In some ways, I liked the first one more, just for its atmosphere. But when I sat with this record like 20 times overall, I kind of had to concede that this is an improvement overall, but it still holds the same value overall to me, even if they've improved a lot of different of their best qualities come out here. So anyway, it's a good record, and I do recommend it. And go ahead and read more about why on the review, and check the album out when it comes out.